Good morning, mushrooms, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, brothers, sisters, mothers, misters, and to all my cousins out there around the world. It's time to plug in, get the news train chugging. China has ordered a U.S. consulate to close in a little tit for tat because the U.S. ordered them to close their consulate in Houston within 72 hours. And apparently there was video documentation showing them doing what it looked like, burning papers, burning documents for the most part. But hey, you know, if you don't have enough boxes and you don't have the time, that's the quickest way to get rid of stuff. Burn it. Diplomatic mission in Chengdu. Cease operations. And cease is an official word for meaning stop. We get different uses of the word cease. You might know it from war or Middle East peace negotiations. Often they will negotiate some sort of ceasefire between the two different warring factions, the warring parties. A ceasefire in which then they stop firing as well. Lawyers sometimes will file a cease and desist letter, and that means to officially stop doing some sort of behavior. Hopefully we never get one for this show. In retaliation for its closure of the Houston consulate. In retaliation for, to get revenge, to get back at the U.S., a tit for tat. You do this to me, I'll do this to you. An eye for an eye, but that's taking things to the next biblical level. To retaliate against someone for doing or having done something. Moving on. Red meat. Experts cast doubt on Trump's motivation. Not really sure what's going on with the red meat here, but to cast doubt on somebody. We've had cast before, and we're not talking about the group of actors who are involved in a play or a film or anything like that. To cast also means to throw, yeah? When you're going fishing, for all of you fisher people out there, actually, one of the few channels I follow here on Twitch is a fishing show. You've got your fishing pole, right? And you need to get it out there into the water. And so you cast your line out into the water. So that way you can catch them big fish. Just a dim bulb or the flickering candle. Cast light on somebody. To cast light on something, also to illuminate something, as we've often had, or to shed light on, to highlight, to spotlight. To cast means to throw, and so it's throwing doubt on Trump's motivation. Just nice visual vocabulary, which we're always emphasizing on the program, as you well know. People are beginning to doubt things about his motivation. Ta-da! TikTok could be sold to U.S. investors, because as you know, there's some drama going on. Because the U.S. thinks that, and I have no idea, it could be true, but that TikTok is being used by the Chinese government to surveil, to watch, to listen in, and to follow people, and not in the follow social media sort of way, but to really follow. And it is some sort of security risk. But, so it might be sold to U.S. investors to avert a ban. The U.S. might prohibit it, much like India, I think, is actually also calling for a ban on TikTok. And so to avert is to basically to avoid something. Often you will avert your eyes. If my dog knows that he's done something bad and I yell at him, he will avert his gaze and look the other way. And so basically it's another way of saying avoid in the most common usage. And so, yes, to avert, to avoid, to evade, you could say as well. But that's more about motion. Either way, let's continue with our U.S.-China rivalry. Yes, in rivalry, they are rivals on the world stage, right? We've had it many times before. Not exactly enemies, but competitors of sorts. And we have friendly rivalries, we have bitter rivalries. It's one of those situations where you're competing against the other person, but you often have some, as I've said before, begrudging respect for them. You hate the fact that you have respect for them. And, well, in the recent decades, they have become a worthy competitor or a worthy adversary. Again, that's something below an enemy, but somebody against whom you are competing. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And we've got a new frontier from the South China Sea to the Martian landscape. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a new rivalry at Mars. And so if things don't kick off in the South China Sea, we might be fighting it out and battling each other in outer space. The Australian military has been deployed amid the outbreak, and new outbreak in Australia. To deploy, usually used with troops and or army or military, and it means to move them into a strategic place so that they are ready to be put into action. They're ready to spring into action at a moment's notice. And so yeah, we usually deploy military, but we can also deploy resources to strategically allocate and have them in place, ready to rock and roll. All right, cool. Just a fun word here. Absurd, crazy, loco, insane in the membrane. Whatever. His briefings were intended to show him in charge, but now they're becoming absurd. They're becoming silly. They're becoming ridiculous. Spewing and spouting all sorts of nonsensical word salads. Here's something I knew nothing about. The Red Bull Air, not hair, yeah, it's pronounced like air, that which we breathe. And the heir, the person who has inherited or will inherit the Red Bull fortune, the Red Bull company, because companies are often, much like houses or other properties, are passed down from generation to generation as people pass away. Yeah, people pass away and their things are passed down and the recipients inherit them. They are the heirs. And this heir has been accused in a police officer's hit and run death. Hit and run? Well, quite literally. He or she hit the police officer and then drove away, supposedly. The charges against this person have been dropped. So maybe they have been deemed or officially considered faulty or not correct or something like that. And so the court just said, we're not going to deal with this. And they dropped the charges. But we've got ghost ships. Ghost ships, that means nobody's on them. They're not actually ghosts. They are physical ships, but there's nobody on them. And so they're just kind of sailing around or floating around adrift on the seas. And, well, the tides and the waves keep washing them up on the beaches or on the coast of Japan. To wash up just means to arrive on the beach, brought in not of your own power, but by the power of the waves. Yeah? That's it. It's nothing really too fancy. We've had strikes out on it before. We've got a nice baseball idiom here. To strike out on something. In baseball, you're trying to hit the ball right, swing and a miss. Strike one. Swing. Oh, he missed the ball again. That's strike two. And you know what happens? 3 strikes and you're out. And so that means they have tried several times and they have missed the ball, meaning they have not succeeded. And, well, they have not succeeded. And even his own party is saying, they're rejecting his demands on the stimulus for the economy. So it's time for them to go sit down on the bench. Accosted is like assault in a way. It's to approach and address somebody in a aggressive or abusive sort of way. And so, yes, to verbally accost somebody. You can also physically accost somebody, is basically meaning like attack. One of my favorite verbs here, to spark, because the spark is what starts a fire, yeah? I just love this verb because it's very visual and it means I get to pull out my lighter on the show. To spark a debate, to spark an argument, to spark a battle. And this spark is what lights the fire, causes it to combust, blow up, erupt, or, well, people start talking. The judge has ruled to unseal documents in the 2015 case related to this facilitator of pedophilia, because they had negotiated some sort of agreement in court back in 2015 where whatever all the details from the legal case in that instance, were sealed. Quite literally put in an envelope, lick the envelope, close it, it's sealed, it can't be opened, nobody can see what's inside. Well, the judge has ruled now to unseal those documents, and so now whatever is in that envelope or that case will be open and hopefully made public so we know how creepy exactly Jeffrey Epstein and she were in their little mysterious events in Iran. Basically, buildings blowing up and things like that. And, ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to sneeze. Goosebumps. It's going to happen again. They always come in clusters, much like COVID cases. Yeah? I don't know. Yes, mysterious events in Iran, like buildings blowing up and other things lighting on fire, raise questions about Trump's strategy. To raise questions, yes, they're coming up, yeah? And so now questions have arisen. People have questions. That's it. A Nazi guard has been convicted of his crimes and will go to prison, but being 93 years old, there's a good chance that he's not going to see much time in prison because, well, at this age, people usually have a heart attack or something like that. But this person was an SS guard at a concentration camp and has been found guilty and convicted of his crimes for participating in the Holocaust. Let him get what he deserves. Some more inappropriate behavior, so much in the news, because apparently people just don't know how to comport themselves. Inappropriate behavior, or we could say misbehavior. Allegations are official accusations against somebody. The president of these magazines has resigned from his position. To resign from your position is to officially quit your job. Other people, it's not their choice. Sometimes they're pushed out, sometimes they're just fired, let go, set free, made redundant. Different vocabulary for losing or leaving your job. Let's move on. On to commodities and precious metals. Silver prices are going up. They hit a 7-year high. Ooh, and it's outshining gold. I like this because, well, gold and silver are shiny and sparkly. That's why people like them, and that's what makes them precious, yeah? But the prefix out as a prefix means more or better than, and so it's shining more or shining better than gold. Not because it is shinier, but because the prices are going up faster and it has proven to be a better investment of recent times, of late. But without, to outdo your competitors, to outscore the other team, and therefore win in whatever sport it might be playing. Cool. Twitter, losing money because ad revenue has dropped, and dropped how? Not gradually, but dropped sharply for whatever reason. Because, well, you gotta keep the shareholders happy. I love it. As I always say, the writers, they find some sort of word and they latch onto it and then they keep using it. We had Drenched just yesterday talking about photos from the golden age of surfing. Well, now we have them, photos captured the essence of youth. Drenched, again, drenched means completely soaked, saturated with water, like you were caught in a downpour outside without an umbrella. You are wet to the bone. However, you are completely drenched in sun, which, as I said yesterday or the day before, yes, it's interesting because the sun dries things out, and so to be drenched and completely wet in the sun, it's just very visually evocative. Many of my examples are drenched in sarcasm or drenched in satire. To capture, photos ooh, you're mine now. You're stealing a moment from the world and the essence, the spirit, the soul of the moment, not just the physicalness, but the feelings. They're very evocative, very vivid. All right. Ooh, ancient Egypt's spellbinding mummy portraits. Ah, pictures of mummies from ancient Egypt. They are apparently spellbinding. I just like this word. It's very similar to transfixed. You're not able to avert your gaze. You just, oh, wow. It's amazing. It's enthralling. It's captivating because it captures your attention. Yeah, what was the other word? That's what it is. Bewitching. Yeah, I like it because bewitching, as you know, witches are ladies with magic, yeah? And the magic, when you do magic, you, like Harry Potter, cast a spell on something, hocus pocus, Ilia Belora, or whatever, and it's like you cast a spell, cast, vocabulary from above, it's like you're throwing it. I mean, even Harry Potter does the sort of motion with his wand, yeah? And so they cast a spell on somebody, and then the people are bound. They are tied. They are then Yeah, spellbound. And so it's like you're tied up by magic. But what it really means is transfixed or shocked, bewildered, dumbfounded, bewitched. And you can't avert your gaze. Last but not least, as if rules don't apply to them. As if it's just a beautiful pairing of two very small words that do many different things in the language. But here, as if, is just a nice, more eloquent and articulate way of saying like. Yeah? We overuse like. I'm guilty of it. We're all guilty of overusing like. And so, don't do that. Use as if, as though. You can do better. We can all do better in the way that we talk and present ourselves and explain ourselves. And so, we don't want to sound as if we are ignorant morons or insensitive jerks or whatever. They act like or as if the rules don't apply to them. Apply to a company, that's a slightly different thing. But with stickers or labels, yeah, I've got a water bottle here with a label. You have to apply the label with some adhesive, some glue, and then it sticks to it. And the rules here don't apply to them. The rules don't stick to them. The rules, therefore, are not relevant to them. They don't have to play by the rules. It's not that they're breaking them. It's just because the rules don't apply. So they can just run and do whatever they want, yeah? Well, at least they act that way. And hopefully one of these days the legal system will hold them accountable and take them down. Those were the headlines for today, Friday the 24th of July. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching, checking us out on YouTube. If you like what we're doing, please do click the follow, the subscribe. Yeah, pass along to a friend. Spread the love. Make the world a better place. That's been Breaking Down the News for English Otherwise. My name is Mr. James, but if you followed us this far, you can call me Cameron. I wish you all a beautiful day and an even better weekend. If I don't see you sooner, 8 a.m. Monday, as always, like that Swiss watch I wear on my wrist. Yeah, have a beautiful day and a better weekend. Bye-bye. Here, gotta go. Yes, stop the stream. Yes.